The story opens in Verona on a hot day, and the air feels thin with old hatred. Two servants from the house of Capulet talk openly about how much they despise the Montagues. They meet two servants from the house of Montague, and what begins as sharp words turns quickly into violence. Swords are out before anyone can stop it. Benvolio rushes in and tries to break it up, trying to hold the peace together with his hands and his voice. But then Tybalt arrives, and the temperature in the street changes immediately. He is not here to calm anything, he is here to fight. As I hate hell, all Montagues and thee, have at thee, coward. The street brawl grows into something larger, louder, uglier. Men shout, metal rings, people run. And it swells until even Lord Capulet and Lord Montague are pulled into the chaos. Only then does the prince appear, cutting through the noise with authority and fury. He forces everyone to stop, demanding they drop their weapons. On pain of torture from those bloody hands, throw your mistempered weapons to the ground. He is furious, and he warns them that if this happens again, the punishment will be final. If the feud spills into the streets once more, Montague and Capulet will pay the forfeit with their lives. The crowd disperses. When the street finally empties, Lord and Lady Montague remain behind with Benvolio, worried and baffled by their son lonely. He has been missing all day, avoiding everyone, wandering alone. Benvolio promises to find him and discover what is upsetting him. When Romeo appears, he is not angry, not violent, not even interested in the feud. His trouble is different. Romeo reveals to Benvolio that he is in love with Rosaline, and she does not love him in return. His heart is heavy, and he speaks like someone who has decided sadness is his home. Elsewhere, Count Paris visits Lord Capulet to ask for Juliet's hand in marriage. Capulet listens, but Juliet is still very young. He tells Paris plainly that he should wait. Let 2 more summers wither in their pride, ere we may think her ripe to be a bride. Still, Capulet plans a grand ball at his house, and encourages Paris to attend and court Juliet properly there. A messenger is sent to invite the guests, but the messenger cannot read the list. By chance he bumps into Romeo and Benvolio and asks for help, and so Romeo learns about the ball. Even more importantly, he learns Rosaline will be there. Benvolio suggests they go, not to cause trouble but to distract Romeo, to put other faces in his path, so Rosaline is not the only star in his sky. Romeo agrees to go, but not for the reason Benvolio hopes. He insists he will go only to prove Rosaline is the most beautiful. I'll go along, no such sight to be shown, but to rejoice in splendour of mine own. In the Capulet house, Juliet is being prepared for the ball. Lady Capulet searches for her, and the nurse is there too, bustling with memories and affection. Juliet is only 13, still half-child in the eyes of those who raised her, yet already being placed on the path of marriage. Lady Capulet praises Paris as a match, insisting he is the finest flower Verona has to offer. Verona's summer hath not such a flower. The nurse who has cared for Juliet since she was a baby speaks with warmth and nostalgia, remembering Juliet as a child in her arms and hoping to see her married. Thou wast the prettiest babe that e'er I nursed, and I might live to see thee married once. I have my wish. Juliet listens. She does not fully resist, but she does not yet burn for Paris either. The idea of marriage is something being placed upon her, like a dress she is told will fit. Night falls, and Romeo, Mercutio, and Benvolio head toward the Capulet ball in disguise. Romeo slows, he hesitates. The heaviness in him has returned, and he feels the pull of something ominous. I have a soul of lead, so stakes me to the ground I cannot move. He speaks of a dream, a bad feeling, as if the night is opening a door he may not be able to close again. Mercutio refuses to indulge that fear. He teases Romeo, mocks dreams, dismisses them as insubstantial, airy nonsense. True, I talk of dreams, which is as thin of substance as the air. And Mercutio launches into his famous vision of Queen Mab, the spirit of dreams, small as an agate stone, riding across sleeping minds, planting fantasies in human hearts. Romeo listens, half amused, half troubled, but he goes. Inside the Capulet house, servants rush to prepare the feast. Capulet welcomes the guests. The music rises and the party begins. Romeo enters masked. Tybalt sees him immediately, recognizes his voice, and is furious that a Montague dares to step inside their home. "I'll not endure him." He sees Romeo's presence as an insult and wants to strike then and there, but Lord Capulet restrains him, ordering him to keep the peace inside his own house. Tybalt obeys, but only outwardly. The anger doesn't leave him, it sharpens. Meanwhile, Romeo sees Juliet. The moment he lays eyes on her, the noise of the room seems to fade. His heart shifts, as if something in him has been waiting for this without knowing it. He speaks, overwhelmed by wonder. "Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night, like a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. So shows a snowy dove trooping with crows, as yonder lady o'er her fellows shows. The measure done, I'll watch her place of stand, and touching hers, make blessed my rude hand. Did my heart love till now? Forswear it, sight, for I ne'er saw true beauty till this night." Romeo approaches. Juliet responds. They speak, and they kiss. Juliet, playful, bright, and newly alive to the moment, says to him, "You kiss by the book." Then the truth breaks through the magic. They discover each other's names, and Juliet, stunned by the cruelty of it, speaks the line that tells you the whole tragedy is already underway. "My only love springs from my only hate, too early seen unknown, and known too late." They are separated, but they are not released, not from each other, not from what has begun. After the ball, Romeo cannot go home. He cannot return to his old life. He climbs the orchard wall into the Capulets' garden, risking everything, because he needs to see Juliet again. Outside, Mercutio and Benvolio call for him, teasing him, searching for him in the dark, but Romeo will not answer. At last they give up, realizing he has chosen his own path. "Go then, for 'tis in vain to seek him here that means not to be found." They leave. Romeo stays. Juliet appears at her window, and Romeo watches from below. He sees her in the moonlight and whispers, as if he can't help the poetry rising in him. "But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief. But thou, her maid, art more fair than she. It is my lady, oh, it is my love." Juliet believes she is alone, and in that privacy she speaks her longing, her confusion, her defiance of names and bloodlines. "O Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, or if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. 'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a Montague. What's Montague? It is nor hand nor foot, nor arm nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other word would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes. Without that title, Romeo doff thy name, and for that name which is no part of thee, take all myself." Romeo can no longer hide. They speak together now, urgently, tenderly, as if the night itself is running out. Romeo asks for their vows to be real, not floating like breath. "The exchange of thy love's faithful vow for mine." And Juliet presses for certainty, for honour, for marriage, not just sweetness. "If that thy bent of love be honourable, thy purpose marriage, send me word tomorrow." The nurse calls from inside. Time rushes at them. They agree to meet the next day and be married in secret. Morning comes, and Friar Lawrence is gathering herbs and plants, filling his basket with the world's hidden medicine. Romeo arrives and tells him he wants to marry Juliet. "Is Rosaline, whom thou didst love so dear, so soon forsaken?" But Friar Lawrence sees a possibility beyond the young lovers. He imagines peace between the families. He agrees. Mercutio and Benvolio are still looking for Romeo, and the city is tense. Tybalt has sent a challenge. Mercutio describes him sharply, mocking his polished, studied aggression. Romeo arrives, changed, alive, lifted out of his earlier gloom. His friends tease him, relieved. The nurse arrives, cautious but willing. Romeo speaks respectfully to her and sends his message to Juliet. He tells the nurse to send Juliet to Friar Lawrence's cell that afternoon. Juliet waits for the nurse with impatience that feels like pain. Every minute stretches. The clock struck 9 when I did send the nurse. In half an hour she promised to return. When the nurse finally returns, she teases Juliet, delaying the news, enjoying Juliet's desperation. At last, she tells Juliet to go to Friar Lawrence. Juliet runs. Romeo and Juliet meet in secret at Friar Lawrence's cell. The friar blesses them. So smile the heavens upon this holy act. And they marry. The sun is high and the streets are dangerous again. Benvolio tries to persuade Mercutio to go indoors. The city feels like a spark waiting for tinder. Tybalt arrives looking for Romeo. When Romeo appears, he refuses to fight Tybalt, and his words are calm, because Romeo now loves what Tybalt cannot imagine. I to protest, I never injured thee, but love thee better than thou canst devise. Mercutio cannot bear this. He steps in and the duel begins. Romeo tries to intervene. In the confusion, Tybalt's blade finds Mercutio. Mercutio, dying, curses both families. A plague are both your houses. I am sped. Romeo is shattered. He feels responsible. He burns with grief and fury. He hunts Tybalt down and kills him. When the prince arrives, he delivers the sentence. And for that offence, immediately we do exile him hence. Romeo is banished from Verona's walls. Juliet waits for Romeo, newly married, aching for night to arrive. Gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds, towards Phoebus' lodging. But the nurse arrives with devastating news. Tybalt is dead. Romeo is banished. Romeo is hiding at Friar Lawrence's cell when he learns his punishment. He collapses into despair. To him, banishment is worse than death, because it separates him from Juliet. There is no world without Verona walls, but purgatory, torture, hell itself. The nurse arrives with Juliet's message, and proof that she still loves him. Friar Lawrence forces Romeo to think beyond the immediate agony. He tells him to go to Juliet first, to be with her, to comfort her, to consummate their marriage, and then flee to Mantua until things settle. Go, get thee to thy love, as was decreed. Ascend her chamber, hence, and comfort her. Paris returns to Lord Capulet. Capulet is deep in grief, but suddenly he decides that a wedding might push the household out of mourning. He changes his mind and sets Juliet's marriage to Paris very soon. Romeo and Juliet part at dawn, clinging to each other, desperate for time. Juliet begs for news, for contact, for anything that keeps him near. Art thou gone so, love, lord, I, husband, friend? I must hear from thee every day in the hour, for in a minute there are many days. Lady Capulet enters with the news that Juliet must marry Paris. Juliet refuses. Lord Capulet explodes. He threatens to disown her. Juliet realizes she is completely alone now, except for Friar Lawrence. She goes to him. Paris is with Friar Lawrence, discussing the wedding when Juliet arrives. She claims she has come for confession. When Paris leaves, Juliet is desperate enough to threaten death. Oh, bid me leap, rather than marry Paris, from off the battlements of yonder tower. Friar Lawrence devises the plan, a potion, a false death. No warmth, no breath, shall testify thou livest. He will send a message to Romeo to meet her at the tomb and take her away when she wakes. Juliet returns home, begs forgiveness, and pretends she will obey. Her father is overjoyed and moves the wedding forward to the next day. The plan becomes even more dangerous. Juliet must act sooner than expected. Alone, Juliet fears the potion might be real poison, but she takes it, and she falls into the death-like sleep. The Capulet house stays awake preparing for the wedding. Food, flowers, music, everything set for celebration. The nurse discovers Juliet's body and screams the terrible line that turns joy into horror. "She's dead, deceased, she's dead, alack the day." One by one, Lady Capulet, Lord Capulet, and Paris see her. The wedding becomes a funeral. Juliet is taken to the family tomb. In Mantua, Romeo is told by his servant Balthazar that Juliet is dead. Romeo is devastated. "I defy you, stars." He buys poison from an apothecary and returns to Verona, determined to die beside Juliet. Friar John returns to Friar Lawrence and reveals the disaster. Because of an outbreak of disease, he was stopped from leaving Verona. Romeo never received the letter. Friar Lawrence panics. "Unhappy fortune, by my brotherhood, the letter was not nice, but full of charge of dear import, and the neglecting it may do much danger." He hurries to the tomb to reach Juliet before it's too late. Paris goes to the tomb to mourn Juliet. Romeo arrives and they fight. Romeo kills Paris, not even fully knowing who he is in the darkness of emotion. Romeo enters the tomb and sees Juliet's still form. He speaks his farewell and drinks the poison. Eyes look your last, arms take your last embrace. He dies. Friar Lawrence arrives just as Juliet awakens. He urges her to flee with him, but a noise frightens him and he runs. Juliet refuses to leave. She takes Romeo's dagger and ends her life with the final fierce line, "O happy dagger, this is thy sheath, there rust, and let me die." The prince arrives, the bodies are discovered. The Capulets find Juliet with a knife wound. Lord Montague arrives and reveals that Lady Montague has died too, unable to bear the grief of her son's exile. "Grief of my son's exile hath stopped her breath." Friar Lawrence tells the story at last, the full truth of the secret marriage, the potion, the failed message, the fatal timing, and finally the feud collapses beneath the weight of what it has done. Capulet turns to Montague and offers peace, too late but real. And the families agree to end their hatred. The story ends with the most terrible kind of peace, a peace bought with the lives of the young, a peace that arrives only after love has been crushed between old names, and Verona is left with silence and memory, and the knowledge that it did not have to be this way.